Hey, hello everyone. I know it's been really long time since I last created a video, and I'm really thankful to all of you who are still viewing my videos and who have still subscribed to the channel. Today's video would be literally quite a special one. I mean, it's just like a kind of a mind-blowing video. Sometimes you get that streak of geniusness rarely in your life, and then it changes your life. I'm hoping that it would be kind of like that. Anyways, I mean, to each its own. I'm not sure if it work on every one of you, but I have something really important to tell you. This video wouldn't be long, so I'm hoping that you listen to it till the end because I don't want you to miss some crucial information in it. Anyways, today we'll be talking about the five golden, like literally, you can use golden or magical, whatever prefers your taste, golden rules of learning. In short, they are called Ratan. I'll tell you the significance of why the acronym Ratan is used here. Later, it's not that important either. The five golden rules are more important. And now, to establish their reliability, I'll tell you how I found out about these five golden rules. This is nothing. This is just a chat gpt record of the five golden rules that I read from there because I couldn't visit the site again. Of course, it was a highly it is a very secret and highly encrypted site, and the way I came across is also interesting. So I was just, like usually, as general, I was just browsing the dark net, and there were a lot of advertisements, and from one advertisement you go to another advertisement and to the other, and I stumbled upon a site. The site was specifically created to enhance the human brain's capacity and to unlock secret super potentials of that brain, and it had specific experiments. It had a particular record of experiments done on how to improve the function and efficiency of the human brain. So it's not just hodgepodge, it's not some made up stuff, it's actually experimented stuff that is way too secretive to have been released to the general public as of now, because darknet often consists of such secret and such experimental stuff that is not known to the general public. And those of you, I'm assuming though none of you do serve the darknet because you shouldn't. It's a very bad place to be. But if you have ever, or if some of you might have, then you would know that darknet often contains several such things that are definitely not released to the general public, at least as of yet. So maybe you will hear about these five golden rules of learning maybe in 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, whenever the government decides to release them, or maybe not. But anyways, I stumbled across this, and it had specific evidences on how these five golden rules have actually helped people successfully learn several different things at a success rate of 100%, almost 100%, not exactly 100%. It was similar to 100%, so I wouldn't say exactly 100%, but it's like a new breakthrough in learning. So what are the five golden rules of learning? Now, before we start about the five golden rules of learning, one of the most important thing that I should tell you beforehand is that you don't actually need to pay any attention. You don't really need to stress about that you will have to follow these rules rigidly, and then you'll have to learn that material, and if you don't learn it, then you're doomed. And then if such a technique can't help you learn stuff, then nothing else will. It's nothing like this. If you just follow these, I mean, the people or the organization that had researched on this method, on this topic, had specifically mentioned there in their article, in the research paper, that you do not need to specifically, rigidly follow these rules and then assume and then constantly worry about that you might not be able to learn things. If you follow these rules properly, or not just properly, if you just follow these rules, what, devotionally, the devotionally word would be more preferable here. If you follow these words, if you follow these rules with a great devotion, you will 100%, almost 100% learn whatever thing you want to do. One warning though, these rules do not apply to science and math subjects. Okay, these only apply to arts or humanities subjects. So what are the five golden rules of learning? This is nothing but actually basically a method of how you can learn with 100% efficiency. So whatever you learn, you remember it for life. Maybe not for life, but at least for several years until you need them, of course. So the first rule of the five golden rules of learning is read the material 3 times. again, this is, I have specifically mentioned here, without trying to remember anything. You don't need to stress about that you have to remember it, that you must remember it, that you need to write it in the paper, you need to memorize it. Don't think about anything at all. Just read it 3 times. Read it 3 times, okay? Even if you don't understand anything at all, just read it, like skimming through. Just speak and read. When I say read, I'm saying speak. Speak with your mouth. Use your mouth to speak those words, and then read the whole chapter. Each chapter, read it 3 times. Okay. Like we've mentioned here, the subtopics: purpose, get familiar with the flow, tone, and structure. No pressure on the brain yet, just exposure. So I've just this why I've written in ChatGPT is actually I wanted to verify with ChatGPT whether these rules really have any effect on the brain, or that all the darknet research study was just something made up. But ChatGPT does approve of these 5 golden rules, and he prefers them a lot. ChatGPT just thinks so highly of them. ChatGPT told me that these are actually very psychologically and scientifically made rules. These are especially important for ADHD students as well. Now, several people, a great number of people have ADHD, and they go undiagnosed all through their lives. They never even know whether they have ADHD or not, but they do have, believe me. A lot of you might have ADHD, but you'll never even know, because the psychologists in India are, just I shouldn't say it, but I don't think too highly of them. Let's just say that I don't think too highly of psychologists in India. They're basically muck and dirt. So I shouldn't use these words, but that's what I think of them. So even if you do go for a diagnose, I don't think they'll diagnose you properly. Anyways, these are especially helpful for ADHD, so I'm sure that most of you will benefit even more from them. So the first golden rule is read the material 3 times. No matter if you understand anything or not, no matter if you remember anything or not, doesn't matter at all. Just read it 3 times. 3 times, slowly and properly, just like you're reading it to remember it. You don't what I'm saying is that you don't need to actually take the stress of remembering, but you should read it with the intention that you are reading it as if you're trying to remember it. The second one is do the questions and answers. Now, once you've read the text 3 times, do the questions and answers of the text. Doesn't matter even if you can't answer a single question. It doesn't matter. It's absolutely normal. Even if you can't answer a single question, a single MCQ, it doesn't matter at all. Just try. Just read the questions and try to answer them in your own words. Even if you can't, doesn't matter. Read every question. Try to answer every question. Third is, now this time you would want to read the chapter again. We're reading the chapter for the 4th time this time. Now this time you will read it thoroughly and slowly. You will try to understand each concept. You will try to read the chapter as if you were preparing for an exam, as you used to normally read it. Okay, like you used to read it normally before. Like how you used to read each line and then you think about it, try to imagine, and then the next line and next paragraph. So basically just read it normally, like how you used to earlier if you wanted to pass your exam or if you want to memorize it. Once you've done the 3 steps, now comes the 4th step. Now write the whole chapter by hand. I know this method is very time consuming, but believe me, if you want greater efficiency, you will have to put some time into it. So it's basically for those people who have a little bit of time on their hand. So if you're preparing for UPSC and you have only 6 or 7 months, then maybe this will not help you. But if you have 2 years, 3 years, then this is highly beneficial for you. This method, I don't think you will ever find this anywhere else, because I just found it by luck. Very few people have visited that site, especially since it's on the darknet, so it's understandable. But now this, some other people might too know about it, but it's your lucky stroke of chance that I came across it and I'm telling it to you. So understand these well and then apply it to your daily life. It will work wonders, literally. So write all the core concepts by hand. Now write the whole, what this means is write the whole chapter on a notebook by hand. One thing, some things that you don't need to include in it are the examples and activities. In several chapters there are activities, perform this activity, or they have given us several examples. You don't need to write those examples or activities, but other than that, write the whole text. Every text, everything, not just important but unnecessary stuff also that you think that it's not important. Write the whole chapter on some notebook by hand. Once you've done that, now we're on to the 5th part. Now read the chapter once more. This is your final time reading the chapter. This would be the, I think, 5th time, third, fourth, yeah, fifth. This would be the fifth time of you reading the same chapter. I know it will be pretty boring. You wouldn't want to read it, but believe me, this time you would have understood most of the concept of the chapter, or at least you would know which ones are important, because especially in an exam like UPSC, you need to know which topics are important and which topic can be skimmed through. So this would be very important for you. Now you would be reading the chapter for the fifth time, and your mind will naturally understand which topics or which points are important and which can be skipped. So now this time you will be preparing your notes. Try to make the notes brief, and just try to make the notes in such a way that you get an idea of what you were trying to understand basically. So don't write the full text, just write some small hints so your mind grabs onto the actual topic, that what it is about. Write small concise notes, okay, not full text, just small concise notes with a lot of commas. And now when you're finally preparing for your UPSC, when you're at the revision phase, you just need to read these notes again, and you would naturally remember all the things that you had read previously. I know this sounds absurd. So most of you would just regard this as some stupid idea, some stupid fallacy, but believe me, when at your time of revision, at your time of preparation, you would read these notes again, you would remember exactly how you read the text. You would remember several lines from the text that you had thought you never even knew about, that you had long forgotten, but you'd remember those lines as if read them just yesterday. So do this one. Now what you can also do is you can divide these notes every month or so, or every 2 months. That would be even more beneficial. But if you don't have that much time, if you can't spend so much time and energy on that, you should at least revise them during your revision phase in the last 1 month or last 15 or 20 days or so. Believe me, this would help you a lot. Another thing that I should inform you about what you should be doing is, please buy a packet of lion's mane mushroom. I'll write the spelling here of what its spelling is. It's lion's mane. This is a mushroom. It's available mostly in powdered form. I'll show you. I don't know if it will still work. Let me pause it. I mean, I've opened the recording for a specific app, so I don't know if you'll be able to see this, but this is basically lion's mane mushroom. This one, I bought this from Rooted. I bought it from this company called Rooted. Okay, so 60-gram pack is of 706 rupees. You will need to take about 1.1 to 1.5 grams of, so it will basically last you something about 40 days, 45 days. It would last you about that much time, but it works wonders. What lion's mane does, it works directly on neuroplasticity. What it does, it repairs your neurons. If you have read anything about biology or neurons and neurology and anything of that sort, which you should have since you're preparing for UPSC, or I'm assuming most of you are at least, then you would know that neurons are the receptors which actually control most or all of the signals in our brain, except for the involuntary actions, of course. But in any case, it controls most of your functions of the brain, so, especially those related to intelligence and memory and all that. So if you have a large number of neurons and healthy neurons, you would become like a genius. You would become a genius, literally. You would remember things very easily. Your cognizance ability would increase, your intelligence would increase, your reasoning abilities would increase, everything would enhance by a lot. And lion's mane does exactly that. It's available in powder form. Just take 1 to 1.5 gram, mix it in a little bit of warm water, 1 cup of warm water, and just drink it. You would immediately feel its effect. Like within half hour or 1 hour, you would feel the effect that it has on your brain. Your brain would feel charged, and you would feel like you just want to do something with your brain. You want to study, you want to engage it in some kind of activity, and it just works wonders. Another thing that I made this video for was to give you a brief overview of how you should prepare for your UPSC. The best way, literally the best way. I mean, if I don't crack it, just don't blame me that I couldn't do it myself. So how am I supposed to give advice to others? Most of the UPSC teachers are those who failed in their own exams. So obviously I have a lot of experience, and I have a lot of research experience in this field, since I've been researching in it for almost for the past 10 to 12 or 13, 14 years. So I do have experience equivalent to most of the successful UPSC coaches. Now, the best strategy to crack UPSC, it would not be study a lot or study more. The best strategy, I would just write it down here. First and foremost is do NCERT. From what to what? Do NCERT from 6th to 12th. Now, it depends on what kind of optional you are taking. If you don't have any science subjects, then you don't need to do the NCERT of then you don't need to do the science NCERT of 11th and 12th. Just up to 10th will suffice. But you have science subjects, then you should definitely do NCERT of 11th and 12th as well of science. Otherwise, you need to do 6th to 10th, you need to include science subjects as well. And after 10th, you just need to continue on with the humanities subjects or the art subjects. After you've done your NCERT, and I prefer you to do your NCERT with the 5 golden rules of learning, because that way you'll be able to remember a lot of things that you otherwise won't be able to. Once that is, you finished your NCERT, the second step would be to do expert books in each subject. Do expert books, like take an expert book, or what I mean by expert book is a higher learning book or a specialized book in a particular subject. Just like Lakshmikant is for polity, and there's this I don't remember what was its name, man. There was this brilliant book for geography as well that many of the aspirants pursue. So just take one book each, research about those books, which book is the best. Not 2 or 3 or 4 books for each subject, like they pile up lots of books. You must have seen so many UPSC aspirants piling up so many books and reading all those books and still saying, I used to study 10 hours, I used to study 11 hours. You don't need to study that much at all. Just follow this strategy and you'll 100% crack it. Definitely. Do pick up one expert book for each subject, like one book Lakshmikant for polity, one book for geography, one book for your economics. Economics, you don't need to go into that much detail, since economics basically bifurcates into microeconomics and macroeconomics in the 11th and 12th, and they wouldn't be asking you so much in detail about economics since it turns into a complex subject. So, but you should take a lighter book for economics in that case. Then take another expert book for what are your less subjects? History. Take another expert book for history. Especially do the atlas. Atlas is very important. You should remember on tips where each state and each river and each mountain or plain or plateau is. So do that well. And after you finished each and every book, the third step is take coaching. Take coaching classes. Yes, this is the third step, not the first step. This is the third step. Now, once you've enrolled yourself into coaching classes at this stage of your preparation, you would already know most of the things that they are telling you, or at least you would be able to understand those things very, very easily and efficiently than most of your peers, most of your counterparts, most of your classmates. You would be able to understand it very easily. So you would have a great advantage at this point of preparation. So at this stage, you should take coaching classes for both prelims and mains, especially for prelims, since mains is basically an subjective question. You know, they have you can write it based on your own feelings or your own thoughts, but in prelims there would be one definite answer. So you would need to take coaching for prelims. It is especially important. For mains you can do by yourself, but I do still prefer that you do take coaching, because there are some things, some facets that are not included in those books, that are often ignored or just left over, and those would be covered in the coaching. Once you've done the coaching, fourth step is do mock tests. Okay, fourth step is do mock tests, do mock examinations, do previous year examinations as much as you can until it's time for you to give your exams. Like if you've already finished the first 3 steps and you still have 3 or 4 months or 2 months before your examination, before the final examination starts for UPSC, for those 2 or 3 months you should do nothing else but do mock test, do previous year question papers, and that's all. But leave the last 15 days for revision, for another quick revision. In the last 15 days, do another quick revision. But before that, just keep on going for mock tests, previous year question papers, and all that. After this, I don't know about the interview. I mean, I have no issues about passing the interview. At least I like to think so. So I can't really advise you on how to prepare for interview, but for the mains and prelims and essay, of course, you'll have to do essay and ethics is an especially important subject. It is highly underrated, but it is also very important for this examination. Ethics is often overlooked, but it is a, it can be a game changer for you. So you should especially focus on the subject of ethics and essay as well. Essay is what's the word? It just skipped my mind. So essay is basically of passing marks. It's not competitive. You just need to achieve a particular percentage in essay. So it shouldn't be that much difficult, but still I do prefer that you still focus on the weaker points, because you've already covered the main points. But when you're covering the main points, you often overlook or you often skip the weaker points, and that leads to a great disadvantage. That leads to a blunder, and we don't want that happening, because UPSC is a vast, it's a huge examination. It's a huge examination. It contains so many tests, and the person just has to exert it. He just needs to squeeze out all of his life's worth, all of his life's essence into this one particular examination, and then he has to crack it. He or she has to crack it. So I don't want you leaving anything. Just do everything that you can possibly. But if you do these 4 steps, then I'm sure no one can beat you in mains and prelims. And in mains, I'm talking about the main subjects, the GK and optional. I'm not talking about, oh yeah, we sorry, we forgot the optionals. Optional needs a special place in here. So for the 5th, because after the 3rd step, I think in the 3rd step we will take optionals again. We will just modify it a bit, and this will mark the 5th step. So in 3rd subjects, you need to take up books for your optional subject. You need at least 2 to 3 books of your optional subject. Earlier we had only 1 book for each subject for the mains, but for the optional you need at least 2 to 3 books, because you need to cover it from several point of views. So take 2 or 3 good books that you can find on your optionals, read them thoroughly. You need to understand everything about them. Even if you don't understand a lot about the other general knowledge examinations, if you don't understand a lot about the other books that you have read, those other expert books, it doesn't matter. But you need to prepare really, really well for the optional, because this is the game changer. This is the real dark horse of the game, where this will take you to the farthest point. Whether you will succeed, whether you will fail, whether you will come out on the top or at the bottom, this is what will decide your future. So you need to prepare your options really well. Take coaching, especially for optional. Read 2 to 3 books. If you have optionals as English, then I can guide you on it directly. But for other optionals, I don't have much of an experience, so I can't really tell you what to do. So, but all I can say is that you don't need to read too many books. 2 or 3 books on the optional, 2 or 3 good books, good thick books are more than enough for optional. More than enough. What really matters is your ability to form answers, and not the ability to read already written answers or to memorize them. Memorization is not the key to cracking UPSC. If it was, ChatGPT would have cracked it. Okay, nobody has more memory than ChatGPT, right? But ChatGPT failed to crack UPSC examination, because you don't need to memorize it. You need to form those words. You need to form those sentences. You need to form those answers that make a mark on the reader. That's what you need to do. So 2 or 3 books are more than enough for your optional. If you're preparing for English, if you have optionals as English, then I would suggest you download. Now this might get a little bit hectic, because this would be a lot of books, but these are all syllabus books. These are all college books. Okay, these are not expert books written by specific authors for competitive examinations. These are curriculum books. So just download all the English honors bachelor's books from IGNU. There's a site called Samarth. I think the site name is Samarth. No, it's not Samarth. It's Gyan Kosh, e-Gyan Kosh. The name of the site is e-Gyan Kosh. I'll just type it here. What exactly it is? It's e-Gyan Kosh. I think it's something like .com or what else. It's similar to that, but if you write e-Gyan Kosh, you'll understand what I'm talking about. So first of all, you should research what all the books are in the course of BA English Honors, and then download all. So what I'm saying is that you should try and download those English owner books from eGyan Kosh. They're really helpful. I think IGNU books are probably the best for UPSC examinations, and I've heard it from so many aspirants and so many other people who have been preparing for UPSC that IGNU books are one of the best for it. Okay, I mean, I hated IGNU literally. The university as a whole is just a bunch of crap, but then I got admitted to other universities and I realized how much of crap the other universities are as well. I mean, the education system is just a blunder in India, but still we'll have to make do with whatever we have got, right? So download all the English honors books from first year to third year from IGNU. Read them really well if you want to, excel in this subject, if you want to excel in this examination. And I mean, there's no higher examination than this in this country, right? At least I like to think so, or at least I think that there isn't. If you're more towards IIT, JEE, I don't know, my personal preference is that there is no higher examination than UPSC in my country at least. So if you need to really excel it, and you'll have to excel in it, you'll have to give it your all. So just completely just drink them, just drink the IGNU books from BA English first honors to first year to third year. And if you're still not satisfied, if you still think that there's still something to cover, there's still some topics left, there's still you need to study more, and if you have the relevant time as well, then you should go for some master's books. You don't need to really go in depth into master's books. Just read them through. Just read them 2 or 3 times. That's enough. You don't need to remember them. You don't need to stress about remembering and memorizing them. Just read them, and that would be enough. Now, if you've done all these steps, you're prepared for UPSC examination, and you will 100% crack it. One main and important part is this one. This do mock test. This will decide your future for the examination. If you perform well on the mock test, and what I mean by mock test is that it's not like you've asked a question and you have to give a specific answer to that question. It's not like that. This is not SSC. This is not CET. This isn't some MCQ type questionnaire. This is literally war. Okay, this is quite literally war. So you'll have to be the best. Your weapons have to be the sharpest. Your aim has to be the most accurate. And your strength has to be the what's the word? Your strength has to be the come on, the words keep slipping out of my mind. Anyways, what I mean is that you have to prepare your best as you can. And at this time, your mock test, the kind of answers you write in your mock test will decide how you write in the real examination. And obviously you'll have to find some place where you can check your answers, whether they're up to the mark, whether they're up to the UPSC standards or not. Coincidentally, I came to know about a site called Super Kalam. I don't know if it's really efficient, it's worthwhile or not, but I heard about it and I thought that you might want to try it out. I haven't tried it out myself, but you do check it out and tell me whether if it's useful or not. So you can basically write your mains answers here and check if they're good or not. It will automatically analyze your answers and it will tell you how good your answers are. This way you can keep a self-check on yourself. At this point, you're 100% prepared for it. You don't need to go anywhere else, and this should be it. Okay, now this was a really important video. It went longer than I had thought. And also I tried to upload more videos more regularly. Now I've said it so many times already. If you have any questions, any queries, anything you want me to explain, like literally any topic you want me to explain or teach to you, like you're reading a book and you suddenly come across a topic and think it's a little bit hard to understand, you can just write me down in the comments on the latest video. Of course, try to find out the latest video that I've uploaded and write a comment on it, because it shows up at as the most recent one. So I just write it that please explain this topic and I'll try to make a video on it, right? I mean, what could be easier than this? You've got a ready-made homemade teacher. You just like an AI teacher. You just need to write to him that. Now at this point everything's done and ready. I'll also try. Okay, well, so I had to come out because my dad kept disturbing me after having some drinks. Anyways, what I was saying is that at this point you're all ready and 100% prepared for your examination, and you should go in with confidence. And also, I don't really know what I should upload, like some new videos, because what I'm doing is exactly what I'm telling you right now. I'm preparing for the examination myself. Also, I'm just reading NCERT books, so there's nothing really much to explain in it, and there are literally like hundreds of chapters, and then it would make hundreds of videos, and I also think that you can cover up NCERT pretty much by yourself. But still, just in case, if you don't understand any topic, any concept from NCERT or from anywhere else, if I can help it, if I know anything about that subject, if I've read about it, I'll definitely try to explain it in such a way that you are able to grasp it. Alright, I think that should be enough for today's video. I hope it teaches you something and makes you more productive and efficient than yesterday.